Good afternoon. I'm a little late. I just running a little bit behind today, but I do have a great message for our 37th day of Corona confinement, our retreat, as we would say. Today, we've been talking about the 12 powers, and today I am going to talk about the power of renunciation or elimination. I don't think people like the word renunciation. It sounds too churchy, but I don't mean it that way. If we understand renunciation better, it's a form of letting go. We have a choice to let go or not. One second, I had to find my eyeglass cleaner because I'm like looking through this fog, and it was very annoying. Seems like when I put face cream on, the cream jumps onto the the glass from my glasses. Okay, let's see if I see better now. Oh, mucho. Much better. You say, like, how did I ever see through those before? Okay, we're going to look, as I said, at the power, the faculty of renunciation, which is letting go. It is also called elimination. I have a book I want to show you. If you have never, and I know this is backward, it'll be frontward on the YouTube correction, but this is called The 12 Powers of Man by Charles Fillmore. I only wish I had the time to go over every page with you. I just wanted to show you a couple of pages that indicate this is how I feel about this book. I've read it several times, and every time I read it, I'm highlighting it. Yes, I want to remember that. It seems like every time I read it, I get something new out of it. Well, we've all had to let go of a lot of stuff. Some people have had to let go of their jobs, their day-to-day life, going out. If you have especially young people have a boyfriend or girlfriend, they had to let go of seeing them on a daily basis. It's just a part of life sometimes that we let go. Sometimes we don't have a choice. Other times we can, but it doesn't mean it was an easy choice. When I lost Sammy, my granddaughter, I had no choice. There was nothing going to change that. So it was a letting go that I had to live with. Now, when I gave up smoking 40 some odd years ago, it was not the horrible choice it is for some people. It wasn't pleasant, but it was a habit. Smoking for me was a habit, not an addiction. I would actually time things by cigarettes. If I'd be having a conversation with someone on the phone and I'd be like, I gotta get going. And then I'd say, I'll just have one cigarette, I knew I was in trouble one day when I was out of cigarettes, and I looked in the ashtray to see, was there anything with enough cigarette left to smoke? That lets you know it's time to let go of that habit. So one of the things we can let go of is habits. For some it's harder than others. Another thing we have to let go of is the way we habitually think. That is really difficult to let go of because we don't even sometimes realize what we're thinking about. All of a sudden we're either angry or sad or even happy, and we go, what's going on? If you look at what you're thinking about, you can tell, why am I having that thought? I had a friend in seminary who had a watch, and her watch was set for random. It would have like an alarm thing that would go off at random times. And the point of it was, when the alarm went off, to ask herself, what was I just thinking? And that is really powerful, because thinking is subconscious. We're just, sometimes our thoughts just run. And it's very important to learn to monitor and control our thoughts, because we know we receive ideas and we think about them, and where the mind goes, energy flows and manifestation follows. So we want to be really sure we monitor what we're thinking, try to check in with ourselves, see how it's doing. We've had a recent realization that life has changed. And in the beginning, I said we will soon be back to normal. My expectation, which I probably told you before, is that it would take 3 months, that we would be confined for 3 months. And I prepared for 3 months, because I don't know, I just figured that's how long it would be. Well, now they're not so sure. And it's another thing I have to let go of now, is the expectation that it will be 3 months. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I can't tie my quality of life to how long it will last. When we start to do that, we get unrealistic expectations. I have a friend who had a shirt that I loved. It was a t-shirt, and it said, "Anything I ever let go of had claw marks all over it." Do you have that about letting go of some of the things? Think about this for yourself. What are some of the things you've had to let go of that really challenged you? And what are some of the things you had to let go of that it wasn't so bad? In your time that you have where you can meditate, where you can think things out, I would invite you to ask, what was the difference between the things you could easily let go of and the things that were really, really hard to let go of? And don't forget, habits are hard to let go of. Why? Because they're a part of our routine. They're a part of what says life is normal. And we definitely let go of that. You want to make a new plan, but you want to make a plan where you can let go of the way you want it to be, the way you had planned it would be, to create a flexible plan where, don't be afraid to make a plan, but also don't attach your happiness or your belief about life or God or anything else to that plan. Make a plan and affirm with that plan this or something better. I knew a young man one time who became an atheist. He became an atheist when he was a teenager. He was maybe 12, 13, and he had a dog, an old dog, and the dog got very sick. And he prayed and prayed and prayed that the dog wouldn't die. And the dog was old and sick and died. So he said, that's it. There is no God. I didn't get my way. So for a 12-year-old boy to decide, because he prayed his dog wouldn't die, but his dog died, he became an atheist for all the years I knew him. I don't know whether he's still an atheist or not. But just because we don't get our way doesn't mean that things are not going to turn out okay. Dale Carnegie had a plan. He had a wonderful book. If you can get your hands on it, it's great. It's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And I have gems I got out of that book 30 years ago that are a part of who I am today. And one of those is, if you're afraid of the future, of something that's going to happen, or you could ask yourself, okay, ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? And then accept that thought. Consider it's happened. And now what would you do? That's creating a new plan if the worst happened. That doesn't mean, now there's some people that might say, oh, but if I hold that thought that what I want isn't going to work out, what I want to work out will never work out. Relax, it'll work out. As long as you have a plan B, you can focus on, your plan A, knowing something. You'll have something. So ask yourself now, what's the worst that could happen? You maybe won't have a job to go back to. If that happened, what would you do? Well, chances are, if you can stop worrying about it, excuse me, they said, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but you don't get anywhere. That's in the lower consciousness. When you can lift up, let go of your concerns, let go of your fears, even for a millisecond a day. We've all seen those bumper stickers, one day at a time. From what I understand, that comes from AA, where people are trying to remind themselves, I can do this one day at a time. I've had things go on in my life where I had to say to myself, I can do this for another minute. I can do this for another 5 seconds. So whether it's 1 minute, 1 second, 1 hour, whatever it is, one at a time, baby steps, step by step, to come through whatever it is you need to come through. There's a beautiful scripture. I'll bet everybody that sees this knows this song, Bringing in the Sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. I'm not going to sing the rest. I haven't tuned in my vocal cords yet. Anyway, the song is based on a scripture that says, those who go out weeping, carrying seed for sowing, they will come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves. We may be weeping now, but if we continue to sow, if we continue to seeds are ideas, metaphysically, seeds represent ideas. So if you move forward in your day, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, and you have ideas, thoughts, not everything's going to work out. Just not every seed that you plant works out, but the more seeds you plant, the more that works out that way. So you want to plant your seeds. Think of ideas. Well, gosh, my job's not going to be back. What am I going to do? Well, what did you always want to do and you didn't? You may have time to train for it while you're at home. You may have time to create that business you always wanted. I don't know if you know the name Wally Amos, but Wally Amos was once called Famous Amos. He was called Famous Amos because at one time he was really, really poor. And he wound up sleeping at a friend's house, and the only place he could sleep was in the bathtub. And one day when he was laying in the bathtub trying to go to sleep, thinking, he wished he had some of his grandmother's chocolate chip cookies. He thought about how delicious they were. And he got an idea. And he made a plan. And he started baking, and selling his grandmother's chocolate chip cookies. They were called Famous Amos Cookies. And his business grew. And it grew and it grew. And then he got some corporate sponsors. And then they took his name and his company and booted him out. He had lost everything. It was his idea. It was his grandmother's recipe. He lost everything. But then he shared his story. And he started calling himself by the name Uncle Nonami. Uncle Nonami means no name. They had taken his name. They were still selling the Famous Amos cookies. But he became Uncle Nonami. He started selling cookies again. But he didn't sell them for long because he became a public speaker and he started sharing his story with other people. What's the story you're going to share about anything you may have lost during this period of time? No, I'm not talking about the devastation of losing a loved one from it. At the same time, that could happen. If it does happen, that doesn't mean God's not working with us, that God's not still going to bring us through it. And as we who do believe in the promise and know inside the promise of eternal life, we know even those we think we lost, we will see again. What else do you have to let go of in your life? Okay, so we want to let go of habits, bad habits. Not good habits. We want to make good habits, let go of bad habits. I want to let go of some pounds, okay? Basically, I've said this before. It's about my health, my blood pressure and everything. And so one of the things I've done, have I stopped eating? Oh dear, no. I have a little magnet on my refrigerator now that reminds me eating is not a sport. Well, it is for some people, isn't it? But not for me. So what I just started doing, I've got a few things I do. One, and I might have said this before, but repetition is good. If you haven't heard it before, news. If you have heard it before, reaffirmation, don't forget. When I cook, I try to cook a lot, which normally would mean I'd probably eat a lot. But what I do is I reduce my portion, I pack up the other stuff, I bring some over and put it on my sister's porch for her. I put some in the campground freezer for when camping season gets going. I should say this, not this. God's not about luck. And I put some in my own freezer. So when I get back too busy out there, I don't have to cook. I love to cook, but I also have a really crazy busy life that I love. So I lost 2 pounds. I mean, I may find them again. They may sneak up on me one day, but for the moment I lost them. How did I lose them? I lost them through diet and exercise. Plain old. Didn't stop what I ate. I don't think I gave up anything, nothing. What I did is I just shortened the portion, and with great gratitude, thanks to Jazzercise, which I can go to every day, our Jazzercise member group I belong to, they put it on TV for the members. So I Jazzercise and for an hour, and I cut shorter portions. So I wanted to lose it. How did I lose it? I lost a little bit I invested. I lost a little bit of time, a portion in my food, and I added time to exercise. It's really simple. What else do you want to lose? Do you have relationships that are challenging you? What other habits? I know you're probably under enough stress already if you smoke or anything to give up that kind of habit. But just like I cut back my food portion, maybe you could cut back your portion of cigarettes, Most of us girls have done slumber parties. I don't know if guys do slumber parties. They do slumber parties, but they call them sleepovers. Well, I don't know what guys did because I'm not a guy. But girls, when we had a sleepover back in the day, when we didn't have phones to play games on and stuff like that, we would make crank phone calls, which is, I would not recommend. Don't ever do that. Not a good thing to do. But we would also play a game. We would take someone, and especially someone new, bless their heart, and make them sit on the floor, and we'd put a blanket over them. And we would say, take off something you don't need. Well, and like a shoe would come out, and then another shoe, and we'd just say, okay, take off something you don't need. And we'd see how far we could get them to go before they realized what they didn't need was the blanket. But that's still true in life, because what have you got right now that you don't need? What can you let go of that you're not using? It could be a gift. You know, the hardest time I have letting go of stuff is I'm a sentimental kind of person. I have attachments. You know, if you give me something, you know, like I have little figurines and stuff that people have given me and books, and some of it I can't use. Some of it I can't fit. Some of it is not my style. And I had to learn the beauty of regifting. Regifting is a wonderful way to let go of things you don't need that are going to bless someone else. Spring cleaning time. See what you can release. What else can you release? How about maybe too many things to do in your life? You've had this opportunity to come away, and that way you can really balance out, what is it that's worth it for me? What is the best investment in my time? Oh, by the way, when we started this 37 days ago, I talked about I wanted to play my guitar again, remember? And what else did I want to do? Hacky sack. I gave up on the hacky sack. That's gone. I sent it to my grandson. But the guitar, I started to play around with it a little bit, and I kind of kept putting it off and putting it off. Then, just if any of you have a guitar that's gathering dust in the house, Fender, like a car Fender guitars, they are offering 90 days of free guitar lessons online. You just go online and set it up. Not only have I been practicing the guitar, not much because I got to get those calluses back, but I also downloaded a free guitar tuner. I mean, so that I decided was a good use of my time. Why? I'm not likely to put music on around the house, but I am likely to play my guitar and sing. And I sing those folk songs I love so much. So what is the best use of your time? Anything you got to let go of there? We are all starting over. Every day when we wake up, we're starting over. I invite you to work on your plan every day for what your starting over looks like. Please, please, don't stay down in the lower consciousness trying to get things that really aren't the best for you, or living in a life in a world that wasn't working. It's your time to create a way of life that works. And we have a way of life that works when we work it. And my whole point in being here with you is to show you how you can do it through metaphysics, which are so wonderful. So take the time to get out of yourself, lift yourself up to the realm of all possibility. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio, shut down your phone. Do all the things that will allow you this peace. Maybe you can only sit for 5 minutes the first day. But if you can get yourself up to 15, 20 minutes is very, very good to be able to relax and to let go of all the thoughts, all the worries, all the concerns, so you can reach the realm of creativity, the realm of divine mind, where the genius is. We have genius. We have to start letting go of limitation. We have to stop thinking there's no way out of this. We're not coming out of this okay. You know what? We are coming out of this okay. We're coming out of this okay because we can. Let go of negative emotions. Let go of anything that's not a good habit for your body. Let go of things that are not healthy for your mind. Let go of things that are not healthy in your environment. The one thing we can't let go of, the one thing we don't want to let go of, is our dreams. The dreams are what you're going to find in time of reflection. I think sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to turn someone off. I'm trying to bring something up. Bear with me. I think we're afraid to just kind of release and to make a plan in a time when there's so many unknowns. But a plan is what will help you to stay grounded and grow. Don't be afraid to have a dream. Even if your dream, you know what they used to say, shoot at a target, because even if you miss, you got something to aim at. Get a dream going, remind yourself, this can be mine, but you gotta let go of any thoughts that you can't do it. So, I wanted to close today with I'm not going to sing, but there are words to a song, lyrics that I wanted to share with you. And I invite you to take these words into you, especially if you've been feeling discouraged, if you've been fearful, we're not going to come out of this okay. We will. We will, because we will it. And we will do it through something that is greater than our little self, our big self. These are the words to the impossible dream. To dream the impossible dream. To fight the unbeatable foe. To bear with unbearable sorrow. To run where the brave dare not go. To right the unrightable wrong. To know pure and chaste from afar. That was to love pure and chaste from afar. Glasses still aren't clean enough. To try when your arms are too weary. To reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far. To fight for the right without question or pause. To be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. Boy, and I hold our first responders, our nurses, our doctors in that as everybody who is in this crisis. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lay peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to fight the unbeatable foe, to reach the unreachable star. You can do it. I'm standing with you, and together we can do it together. Let go of anything that might be standing in your way. Remember, the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Just a little last thing. When I post this on YouTube, you'll notice in the little corner there is a subscription button. You can click on that so you'll be notified every time I finish a video. Have a blessed day. Thank you for blessing me with your presence.